Hey guys, this is Anon. Sorry I haven't been producing quite as much lately. I've just been real busy in real life, so I'm hoping to get back on track now that I've got some vacations done and stuff like that. So today I've got some nice gameplay of the German light tank, the SP1C. It's a tank that I played quite a bit when it first came out, but didn't finish my 100 battles in it and kind of stopped after it got that early nerf because it made such a huge difference in the DPM. But picked it up again to get my 100 battles in, and it's honestly, it's still just such a fantastic tank as a light. It plays a little bit different than a lot of the lights in that it's more kind of a damage machine than it is a scouting light. It's something that I think you should really play more in the shadows and try and farm that damage than necessarily running around and trying to spot everything for the team. And which is totally fine, and it does really, really well. It's got that nice 2-shell autoloader, so you can shoot and kind of hide and deal a lot of damage. If you get spotted, you need to bail out as quick as possible because it is that glass cannon, but it's something you can really manage pretty well here. So I'm on Vineyards, and I've gone ahead and gone up to the bush. I know there's been a lot of tanks move up to my right, but my whole team is there, and it's not been the whole red team moving in that direction, so that's why I've gone ahead and stayed. I know it feels like I've stayed here quite a while, and this is going to be a slow battle as far as I'm not running around crazy like you see a lot in the lights, and I think that is really showing how to correctly play this tank. It does have the speed and mobility to run around like your hair's on fire. But if you're doing really how this is intended and farming damage, then you know, if you can get yourself in a good position, there's no reason to do it unless it's forced. So I can stay back here behind this bush and just farm away on all the tanks that are coming up without taking any damage at all. And that's really kind of a dream scenario for this tank. So I'm just kind of working from one tank to another. Because I'm alone on my team on this side, they tend to keep popping out to take shots on tanks that they know where they are. I have yet to be spotted, so the only tank that really knows where I am is whichever one is taking damage from me at the time. So it gives me a lot of freedom to just kind of work my way through here and take a lot of shots. You can also see, so after, on a situation like that where I fired one shell and I don't have a clear another shot is when I'm going to go ahead and take that clip reload. It's not the fastest reload, but if you've got nothing in front of you, it's a great time to go ahead and take advantage so you can set up again. And so now when we've got it on a 3-on-5, this is when I go ahead and start moving around because their whole team seems to be pretty isolated here to the left. It lets me go ahead and kind of set up a pincer situation because my team has seen them pretty head on. But I can tell by the minimap of where they are, they're probably setting pretty well in the open. So this is a battle that could turn pretty easily, and fighting that other SP is why I go ahead and switch to the HE as well. Unfortunately, that first shot just dirted. That's just a little bit of bad RNG luck, and this tank doesn't have necessarily the best dispersion, so it's something that you know, you're going to miss a few shots, but it's okay, it's just kind of part of it. So the Nashorn turns around, and this is where I've gotten myself probably a little overexposed, but the Schwa I know I have is a one-shot if I can hit one with HE, so I take the careful one. And, you know, this is a time, you know, this late in the game where I really think of hit points as a resource. People talk about conserving hit points as much as possible, and that's why you save it earlier in the game, so that a game like this, I can go ahead and use some up, just like ammo. Like, I go ahead and take a shot there because I can go ahead and get my guaranteed hits, and at this point in the game it's okay because we're up a little bit, and it's a conscious decision. I probably could have dodged it, but I'm just trying to make sure that they can't whittle their way back into it, because even there for a second it was a 3 versus 2 again, so you don't want to give the team an opportunity, and if trading a shot will help you take out a tank, it certainly is something that's worth doing and something to keep in mind. So I feel like these kind of games happen a lot in this tank when you're playing it well. It didn't really seem like I was doing a whole lot, just playing to the strengths, being very casual about it, and rack up 3,700 damage to get an ace. So it's just nice solid play with this tank. I know it's a light, so you want to run around crazy, but it's okay to take a deep breath and play it a little on the slow side. So I'm going to switch over to Mirage now, which is a very different kind of battle. I'm going to do a lot more moving around, and here you can see how light it is here at the beginning because I'm going to get tossed around a lot. I actually got into that battle late. I know it said I could move, but I actually couldn't, and I don't want to go up to these rails, so I'm trying to cross out ahead and just kind of get bounced around a little bit. I don't like sitting up on those rails. It's just too exposed for me. I like these dune areas, and right off the bat I go ahead and pick up the spot on Rudy. It's not that you can't spot with this tank, it's just that you need to be really careful with it. And so here's where the Rudy spots me back, so I'm just kind of hanging back and watching his turret. He's looking at me, and there's no reason to take shots at this point, so as soon as he turns his turret to face another threat, that's when I pop out and go ahead and put that shot into him. Yeah, I only got one in the process and had to reload, but I didn't take any damage, and it's something that's going to give me that resource later if I need it. So my team's playing very passively to the left. It's pretty clear at this point that the red has pushed more to the falls side and that I've got 2 tanks over there that are going to fall pretty quickly. So that's when you need to go ahead and start pushing up in here. Especially I can see on the minimap there's 3 right here to my right. So I basically have to push forward so I don't start taking shots from that side. And the goal here is going to be to kill the Rudy and then to continue kind of around the flank and stay wide. This isn't a tank that I want to be on the front line, so I don't really care what my guys are doing. They're streaming in there really hard, but I want to be on the second or third line, so that's why I'm moving out a little bit wider here just to be safe. I've got a good gun and I want to keep it in the battle as much as possible. The Spa has a little bit of some funky gun depression angles off the side. It's got some on the front, not so much, but still not too great, and it also fights elevation a little bit, so I was fighting my targeting there a little bit. But a lot of it's then just trying to be safe with it. So now we've gotten it tied up, but they've got a lot of bigger tanks. So again, I'm just going to stay really, really wide on this flank. I've got pretty decent spotting, I've got great camo rating, so there's just no reason to take shots that aren't necessary. So I'm going to set up here nice and wide where they're not necessarily going to see me right away. Unfortunately, I missed my shot because I was switching ammo there. I knew that, I was hoping that SP would roll back. He does do it, but instead of rolling forward, I get the jumbo instead, but still am able to take him out real quick. And I can see that the red tanks all being pretty strong health. Even though we're tied, this is kind of a tight situation, so because they all move forward, it lets me start to swing around here. Again, I'm just working this flank constantly. At no point do I want to be in front of all these large tanks. I can be one shot by the KV2, the KV3, KV1S. If they're shooting HE, could pretty well delete me, so I'm just going to stay back as far as I can and just be careful about it. They're staying forward. I get that KV2's attention, which is good. It turns him from my team. But even though I will be able to get a reload, I don't want to face him head on, because if he gets a lucky shot, I'm dead. So I'm going to go ahead and turn around again and start to just watch this mini-map and everything that comes up. The KV1S isn't paying attention to me, so I can get 2 really nice shots on him. And I'm starting to feel that KV2 on the back side, just watching the map, so I'm worried he's going to come forward, so I decided to keep pushing up on the KV1S, even if he was able to get the kill shot, or the reload on me, which I didn't think he'd be able to. Still would rather take that than a KV2, and instead can get the nice clip kill into that, and now rotate right in and be able to be in a nice close circle situation on the KV3 where that's going to be pretty difficult to beat for any KV3, and I can just start working on it here. But again, this is why you be careful with this stuff, because you're going to see here, there he goes ahead and kills one of my teammates, so now I'm only up by 1. This VK is not moving quite as well. Obviously he was bumping me there, and the KV3 has turned to track him because he's staying right in front of him, and now it's worked down to a 1 versus 1. So this is why you be careful. You just can't take it for granted. He's doing a great job of backing up there. I don't want to get pinned, so that's why I go ahead and swing around, switch team for the guaranteed kill shot, because it's just not worth risking. But that's why you just be careful in those situations and try and conserve as much as possible. So I don't think I've ever done a video on the SP1C before, so hopefully that helps a little bit. I still think it's a great tank. Relevant today because we have the lights coming this afternoon, so hopefully you enjoy this. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe on YouTube and follow on Twitch. Going to be back in the habit and have lots of good stuff coming out, so thanks guys.